social commentary is never my thing in stand-up. It was a style I never mastered. So after 6 years away from stand-up, I thought maybe now's the time. Maybe now I know how to be funny with social commentary stand-up. I think I was wrong, but fuck it. Let's just get right into things. There's no trigger warnings tonight. There's no CWs, no TWs, no DWs, no fucking parental advisories, what we called them when I was a kid. None of that shit tonight. We're just gonna say all the things, good or bad. We're just gonna say the words. I don't care. Words are words, guys. We're gonna, you know what? Fuck it. Trigger warning. If someone in this room has a gun, they're gonna pull the trigger because I'm gonna say something that offends them. Luckily, it's me, and it's just me in this room. I don't own a gun. I would have taken that shot years ago. It's just me here. Content warning. Content warning. We'll do it. Fuck it. You get one content warning, and that is it. Content warning. You're all insufferable. How about that? How about that for a content warning? You're all insufferable. If you feel the need to post trigger warnings, content warnings, whatever you want to call them, parental advisories, what I used to call them, you feel the need to put that on your posts online so you don't upset somebody, you might find yourself getting upset tonight. And that's okay. Because if you're one of those people that scoffs at them, when you see those posts, you might be also getting upset by something I say tonight. And that is okay because, we're allowed to get upset. It's just natural. We're only human. And being upset by upsetting things is natural. The world's a terrible place. Like, racism and bigotry are still a thing. It's 2025 now. Racism and bigotry still crazy big. Like, really popular. More popular now than when I was a kid, I feel. They are crazy popular. I don't know what the fuck that's about, because, the future's now, old man. When all the sci-fi I grew up watching was written, it takes place now. And we have flying cars. We live in space. We live on other planets. Racism and bigotry aren't around. We have that shit figured out on Earth, and that's how we get the flying cars and everything else, by working together. I mean, okay, there's probably some racism and bigotry towards aliens, but that's because they're coming to take our jobs. There's no jobs in space. They want to take your job. That's just what happens. But here on Earth, we have our shit figured out, and that's how we got into space and everything else. Because we work together as a species. The world's a terrible place. Racism, bigotry are still crazy big. Fucking rape, murder, suicide, Andrew Tate. Oh my God. Can you imagine how fucking awful life would be to be forced into some cam shows, allegedly, by that brother-loving incestuous faggot? Allegedly. That'd be the worst. I would rather be forced into fucking street prostitution by the Island Boys than have that hideous chud fucking have anything to do with me. At least the Island Boys had the courage for at least a moment to be proud incestuous brother-loving faggots. True Southern patriots. God bless their souls. Can't imagine how awful life would be. The world is a terrible place. Your only safe place is at home. Like, we all like to like create a safe place. You know, this is my safe place where, you know, the outside world can't affect me. Well, that's at home. When you go out in public, if you go out into the world, things are going to get upsetting. The world is a fucking disaster. So when you go out into the public, you might get upset by things. You can't control it. You can't, like, the safe place is at home with no access to the media at all, like internet, television, none of that. Your safe place is just home with everything off. Once you introduce anything to the outside world, it's no longer a safe place. Even fucking Disney kills off like some family and stuff. There's no, you know, there's no safe place in movies and TV. Your feelings, there's trauma, they're gonna get you. The world is fucking awful. The internet is worse. Right from its conception, the internet has been a cesspool of crime and just everything awful, but like, you know, crime. And, you know, I'm not saying that's just how it is. Suck it up, buttercup. But like, you know, aside from enforcing laws, you know, rules and regulations that are put in place to enforce the law, aside from that, buttercup, we have to suck it up together, you know? That's just how it is. Because there's laws that exist that control what we can do, you know? And does that mean, like, I want some fucking incel on 4chan or Reddit, like, shitting all over women just because they're an unfuckable chud? Of course not. It seems counterproductive. They should be, you know, working on a personality, trying to become more fuckable. But I don't, you know, you do you, short kings, you do you. I don't actually care. Do I want them, like, organizing and plotting and committing crimes and posting those crimes, evidence to those social medias? No. I said I don't want crime. That's what laws are for. We live in a society that's governed with rules and regulations called laws that dictate things that we can and cannot do. And planning to commit a crime is also a crime. So no, I don't want them to do that. We established that already. The world is terrible. But like, you know, that's what as a society we have laws that say what we can and cannot do and say, because we have freedom of speech. And freedom of speech tells us what we can and cannot say. And for a long time, you couldn't say like anything. Like, people had to fight for our rights for freedom of speech, right? Like, people went to jail for telling jokes. People went to jail for telling jokes. And now people are like trying to repeal some of that freedom because they're getting their feelings hurt by strangers on the internet. Lenny Bruce would be rolling in his fucking grave if he was alive right now. Well, why the fuck am I keep being buried alive? And also, what the shit is that about? That seems awful. Why did I get arrested all those times? You know, we fought for that shit. I thought it was over. I thought we had freedom of speech. No, if everybody's thinking like, okay, he's brought up freedom of speech, must be one of them Elon Musk dick-sucking fucking edgelords. And hold up. I take offense to that shit. I don't consider myself an edgelord at all. Because, like, I don't edge, okay? When I masturbate, I start and I finish. I don't draw it out like it's the point I'm making right now. I fucking start jerking off and I come. That is it. There is no edging. There is no drawing out the masturbatory experience to feel that tingle in my dick a little bit longer. I fucking come. It's not this point I'm making. I'm not an edgelord. I don't edge. Also, Elon Musk's a cunt. A fucking idiot doesn't know what, like, freedom of speech is. What Elon Musk calls freedom of speech is just like a bigotry circle jerk. That's what he, you know. I don't think he understands what freedom of speech really is, because, like, you know, when Twitter was Twitter, over all the years, I never caught any kind of suspensions or bans or any problems for things that I said. And I said things. And then Elon Musk comes along with his freedom of speech platform, and within a couple months, I got suspended twice for stuff that was legal to say under freedom of speech, not just in my country, but in the country that he lives in. It's not his country either. Elon's dumb. Guys, how the fuck does Elon Musk, a worse poster boy for autism than Newtown shooter Adam Lanza? Like, seriously, the man's like the richest man in the world. He should be up there for, like, yo, look at this guy's got Asperger's. But then you look at him and everything he does with his life, and you're like, holy shit. Maybe the other guy, maybe use the Adam Lanza poster instead. I know what he did. It's better than it's. If you ask Elon Musk's fucking information guy, Alex Jones, he'll tell you that Adam Lanza wasn't even autistic. He was probably just a hired actor. Because, to paraphrase Alex Jones about Alex Jones, he's kind of retarded.
I'm kind of retarded.
But someone needs to tell Elon that just because he's autistic doesn't mean he needs to be so fucking retarded all the time. Like, holy shit. But no, I don't. You know what? Old Twitter was fine. Did I have a problem that Donald Trump was on old Twitter? No. Because freedom of speech and stuff. He had the freedom to say the fucking retarded things that he was saying. But I had the freedom to get drunk and scroll through his Twitter and call him a piece of shit constantly. And that's what I did. It was great fun. Like, was he gonna ever see it? No, of course not. He's got other things to do, and the way Twitter worked, you know, he wasn't gonna see my messages. But there was always that hope, that American dream, that maybe I would get enough interactions on a tweet, I would go viral, and then you would see it. Because going viral is the American dream. I don't care what you think it is. That is the American dream at this point. And there was always that chance. Did it ever happen? No. But it was fun still to just call him a piece of shit. It was good fun. And I know people are thinking like, hey, when you allow people like him to post on places, it influences others to come along and be influenced. Yeah, sure, that's a possibility. Of course it is. But you guys remember that song, Mama, Don't Let Your Babies Grow Up to Be Retarded? Cowboys, retarded, same thing. That's what that song is about. It's the parents. It's not really what that song's about, but as the parents, responsibility is to make sure your kid is smart enough to like use logic and reasoning and have morals and good values, right? That is your job, your responsibility as a parent, to make sure your kid grows up to not be a complete fucking retard. Okay? And the problem is, though, the parents are probably fucking retarded too, right? There's probably some flat earth and anti-vaxxers or whatever, Everybody wants to believe in some sort of conspiracy these days. It's insane. Doctors are lying to us. Government's always lying to us. And to be fair, they often are. But still, the governments are lying. Like, you can't trust the schools. Can't trust the doctors. You can't trust any professional that actually spent years studying because they were influenced by the education system, and the government has them under the control. So does all the other big businesses and everything else. And you can't trust them. There's all kinds of conspiracies. But here's the thing. If you can't trust the fucking education system, you can't trust doctors, your government is that corrupt that you can't trust these people, then it's time to fucking revolt. The Russians have done it 1,000,000 times for you telling me that the Russians are better than you? Disgrace. No, it's because you can trust the education system. They're doing the best with what they got. Maybe spend more money on it, and it would be better. But that's a different issue. We're not here to talk economics. I don't fucking do economics. It's just, goddamn, okay? People are fucking stupid and they just want to believe in some sort of conspiracy, and they get sucked into this mob mentality because they're influenced by some other fucking idiots who are influenced by some other fucking idiots, and then there's just mob mentality. Everybody's in a mob. Everybody is. There's just multiple mobs, right? My favorite, personally, is the one that calls everybody Sheeple. The wake up, Sheeple. And not because I like the term. I think the term is stupid and overused and shit. But it helps me identify who the stupid ones are. I can hear them say that and I know right away. I don't need to listen to anything they're going to tell me, so I can just move on and ignore it. But I also love the irony of them, because they tell you how the other people are just blindly following what they're told by the others, and they're just a bunch of sheep. But that's what they're doing as well. They're blindly following somebody that posted like a TikTok or something, and they went, oh, that they're right. they're fucking right, you know. I'm gonna blindly listen to those. That these people are fucking it because everybody wants to believe that the government is out to get them. This mob mentalities that we all get sucked into is just insane. There's no need for it, but like we get sucked into the mobs, and they use various different buzzwords like sheeple and everything else. They use these words. They love the buzzwords. Makes them feel smarter about themselves, and it makes them look smarter to the other people. So they use the buzzwords to trick you, and they gaslight you into thinking the other side is wrong. See, I know the buzzwords, and I can use them too to gaslight you into thinking I know what I'm talking about. But, you know, everybody's fucking stupid, right? But the mobs use you in a way where they rile you up and pit you against one of the other mobs, right? To quote a wise old Afghani man that I used to know, the bosses love it when we fight. So they rile you up and they pit you against each other and have you arguing over stupid things. And it's not your fight. It's never your fight. I'm almost 40 years old. I'm at a point, I've been at this point in my life for most of it now where I know that I'm not going to change the world. Nothing I do, nothing I say is going to really change anything. Any of these heated arguments that I can get into about social issues and all that stuff online, the only thing that's going to do is increase my chance of getting a heart attack. That's about it. That's all that'll accomplish. I'm not going to change somebody's opinion. They're not going to change mine. We're both just going to laugh at each other, get mad at each other, pretend we're not mad at each other. I'm not mad. You're mad. Look how mad I've made you. Meanwhile, your fucking heart's racing too because you're mad. You're just not willing to admit that they've got under your skin. They got under your skin and you're mad about it. And that's all that's going to accomplish. Nobody's opinion ever gets changed when you get into these heated arguments because it's not your fight. You're walking down the street and you see two people fighting. You don't just pick a side and jump in and start fighting people. You know, other people do the same, but they pick the other side, so you're just fighting each other for no reason. No, you don't do that. You pull out your phone, you yell "World Star," and you post that shit to the internet like everybody else does. Maybe you call the cops, you know, because you don't want someone to die. You don't, you know, you have a moral obligation to call the police. And so maybe you do that. But that's getting professionals involved. That's not you getting involved. You're still like, you know, maybe you yelled, "Hey, break it up." Okay, so you commented, basically. You commented on the issue, but you're not really getting too involved because if you do, now you're at risk of getting attacked. So, you know, it's not your fight. It's not worth it. Now you're thinking, well, on social issues, this is a bad metaphor because in social issues, it affects me, it affects you, it affects everybody. So it is my fight. Well, yeah, and that's what calling the police is. You're getting a professional involved in that fight. Well, in the social issues, getting the professional involved would be going out and fucking voting. Well, I voted, and the other side still won. Well, maybe because you're fucking insufferable and you didn't get anybody on your side because you acted like a little bitch about things and you upset me. And I understand how funny that is when the last election, the more insufferable side won. But that is actually a subjective opinion to who was actually more insufferable because The winning side will laugh when I first said the joke, where they're like, no, you were right. The left was way more insufferable, and that's why they lost. Where the right was pretty fucking insufferable. You're all insufferable. It doesn't really fucking matter. What matters is at least you did your work. Yeah, you fucking voted. You can write your politicians, writing them and letting your opinions be known is more effective than writing and getting into an argument on the internet with somebody that doesn't even work for politics or anything. It doesn't change anything. And you're like, well, writing to a politician doesn't do anything. That's kind of what life is. Welcome to life. What do you think? I've accepted the fact that I'm not going to make a fucking difference in it. That's just the shit we live in. And the shit you just got to accept. And the quicker you do, the happier you are. It's not your fight. It's not worth it. It's not worth getting upset about. Because when you're upset, what happens? You project your misery on everything around you. All right? Because you're a piece of shit. And that's what you do. When you get upset, you're just like a shit. You're in a shit mood. You're a shit person. And you project shit on everything. And you know what happens when shit gets on stuff? It becomes, it's shit. It's shitty. That's just how it is. Look, I have a kid. I know. When shit gets on stuff, it's shitty. It's ruined. It's fucking shit. So you get upset by everything. And shit stinks bigger in piles. So the more you have people projecting their shit on other shit, then it just keeps spreading and spreading. And then everybody just focuses on the shit because you're in these mob mentalities still, where everybody is just now focused on this one same shit and just projecting misery. And the world isn't like that bad. Like, yeah, it's full of terrible things. And I said the world is a terrible place. Society is kind of fucked up. But at the same time, society is awesome. There's a fucking goddamn calculator pushing a stupid satellite out and way past fucking our solar system. It's been doing it. It's been flying through space since the late 70s. Been running off like a goddamn calculator, and it still works. It still sends us stuff, and we did that. We worked together, you know, because we can do anything if we work together. There's no need to project misery. If you're feeling down, there's no need to bring everybody else down. If something upsets you, there's no need to make everybody else upset. If somebody does something, you don't need to tear them down a peg. If somebody's different, you don't need to be an asshole to them for being different. If someone's trans, you don't need to treat them like they're not a human being, because guess what? They're a fucking human being. Last I checked, every single trans person, every single homosexual person, every single person that's different from you is still, what was that word? Fucking a person. There's no need for anybody of any difference from you to do something that doesn't fucking involve you at all, for you to just start shitting on them and being an asshole because you're a pathetic piece of shit and you got to project your misery on everybody else. There's no need to do that. You're just projecting your misery and you're a piece of shit. There's no other reason for it. There's no fucking, it doesn't involve you. Even Elon Musk being a transphobe because his kid is trans, it's still, his kid being trans doesn't actually affect him. He's got a million other fucking kids. It's not like his bloodline's in danger, or even if it was, good. Fucking white people from South Africa own a fucking emerald mine or whatever the shit. Correct me in the comments. I don't give a fuck. He's a piece of shit. The whole fucking lineage should end anyways. Although, I don't know, maybe the kids are alright. Who fucking knows? All I'm saying is just because you're a piece of shit doesn't mean you need to project your shittiness on everybody else. You're not the main character, despite what you think. There's no actual main characters in the world. It's not a book. It's not a movie. This isn't TV or anything, you know? Like, we're not in Truman Show. This isn't The Office. There's no Matrix, Andrew. We're just humans living on Earth in a society, because through the flukes of all fucking nature, we evolved from nothing to be this weird fucking creature that is society driven, and when we works together can do anything, like put a calculator outside of the solar system. But when you don't work together because you're too focused about, wow, who's in the bathroom, or what's between somebody's legs, or who wants to suck dick and who wants to eat pussy, you're focusing on the wrong things. Nobody wants to fuck you. It doesn't matter. You know, like Elon's got a lot of kids. People want to fuck him. That's because he's got money. You know, if you're that big of a piece of shit, your fuckability relies heavily on money. I'm just gonna point that out right now. But you're not the main character. There's no main characters. We're in a society. We need to work together as people, because that's what we are. We're all people. We're all living in this fucking nightmare society together. And the only way to make things better is if we work together to do it, right? You know, you're not the main character because there is no characters. You can like take time and just, you know, stop projecting your misery on everybody. Stop making everything about you, because, you know, most things aren't. For every one thing that's about you, there's like 100 billion things that aren't. Don't ask me for a source on those numbers. I just made it up. But like, for everything about you, there's more things that aren't about you. It's pretty well infinite things that aren't about you, really. So don't. If you're thinking you're the main character, you know, stop. I don't know who you are. You're watching me, and I don't know who you are, and I'm not a main character. Just some guy in my basement yelling at some cameras. You're not the main character. You don't need to project your misery on everybody. And you can take 2 seconds to process things that you see or hear and come to a rational conclusion if it's upsetting or not. You know, scrolling through the internet, you see a post, and it's like, do you know the Queen gave $20 million to her illegitimate Jamaican child when she died? And you're like, that's crazy. And you just share it, and you start telling people, and you go about your life thinking that the Queen had this illegitimate Jamaican child, and you're like, that sounds right. She probably did that at some point, and they just kept that hush hush. And you never actually clicked the link, and if you did, you would have seen that it was like a 4-month-old April Fool's joke that was still up. And you just fell for it, even because it wasn't April and you didn't have your fucking guard up about falling for dumb jokes. And you just fell for it. And now you're going your life because maybe you didn't even share it and nobody corrected you. Maybe you just now go on about your day thinking that the queen, because you're an idiot and you didn't take the time process things properly and go, that seems weird, maybe I should look to see what that's about. How many of you fallen for the onion? I'm gonna say like you've probably at some point fallen for the onion, even for like a second, hopefully before you hit share or reacted too much about it. There's no shame in it. Politicians have fallen for the Onion's posts before, thinking it was real journalism, shared it thinking it was real. There's no shame in it, except for there is shame in it. That's the whole thing I'm talking about. Take the time to know what you're reacting to. Blind reactions is so popular. Like, yeah, it's more than just a YouTube genre of videos. Everybody just loves to blind react to news and everything they hear and see. Just because something sounds outrageous doesn't mean it is outrageous. Just because something sounds true doesn't mean it is true. You're willing to fucking question your government, and you're willing to question doctors who are telling you, you know, not to die. You're like, I don't trust you. Maybe take some time to just like understand before you react, because not everything's bad just because it sounds bad. Not all words words aren't bad at all. Bad words exist, yes, but because bad things exist. Bad things exist, so we need a word to define them. So you know, those words themselves aren't bad, but the thing it just defines is, but you still need to be able to say them. Like, rape is a bad thing, and it shouldn't happen. Nobody should have that happen to them, but if it does, you need to be able to say it. To help prevent it, you need to be able to say the word. To have a serious conversation about rape, you need to be able to say the word. You can't be beating around the bush about it. Now, is beating around the bush a fucking, like, cute little way to say sexual assault? Because, like, I don't really follow the cute safe words. I don't, even in the bedroom, I don't use safe words. But, you know, if beating around the bush is a different way to say sexual assault, I'm willing to adapt to that, because if I'm not allowed to use context of what a word means or what something means, I'm just supposed to react with no context. I can't understand if it's South Africa, South America, or sexual assault that is being talked about. I'm not allowed to use context of the sentence to understand it. And you're like, now you're just being facetious. And yeah, of course I am. Because the whole fucking thing is stupid. You need to be able to say the words. It's the word. The word isn't hurting you. The word's not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna say that. Look, I hate Adobe as much as everybody else, right? I fucking hate Adobe. But if my kid were to start using it, I'm not gonna be mad. I'm actually gonna be impressed. How the fuck can you afford a subscription to that shit? It's expensive. It's one of the reasons why I hate it. It's overpriced for like the amount of people that would use it. If they lowered the price, they would still make the same kind of money, because it would improve, you know. Again, we're not here to talk economics. We're here to talk about the fact that, like, I wouldn't care if my kid's opening a PDF file. But I would care if he was opening one sent to him by EDP 445, because EDP 445 is a pedophile. And I think that calling them a PDF file is just stupid. I think that's one of the dumbest things I've heard, and I really just wanted to work that into this to point out how absurd the whole thing is. Like, I'm gonna have a serious conversation about warning some you guys about pedophiles. I need to be able to say the word pedophile. Calling them a PDF file and this cute little thing takes away from the seriousness of the issue, and pedophilia is a serious issue. How are we gonna have serious conversations about serious things when we can't use the words? Right? Like, I see Courtney Cox's name get censored on the internet not that long ago. That's how bad things are getting. Her name isn't even spelled like a cock, like a dick, which is actually a cock's a rooster, and I can use rooster the same way as the word cock. I can use anything as a slang term for my dick if I really want to. The word is how the word is being used is what makes it good or bad. The context of it is very important. Not, Cox is her name. So for example, so there the context is that's her name. It's not a reference to a penis. And even if it was, there's no need to censor that. It's penis isn't a bad thing. Can be used badly, sure. But that's a different story we're not talking about tonight. How are we gonna have a serious conversation about a serious thing if we can't say the fucking words, though? Like, hey, you've reached the Unalive Yourself helpline. Don't do it, brah. That's some Sigma, Ohio shit. It'd be Beta, Ohio shit. I know the words, I'm just using them wrong. I don't fucking care. It's ridiculous either way. It doesn't really matter how you say it. If someone said that to me, I would definitely fucking kill myself while they still were listening, because that is ridiculous. And again, you're really being facetious on this one. And yes, that is of course the style of fucking whatever that I'm to make my point. It has to be stupidly ridiculous, because again, we're at a point where Courtney Cox's name is getting censored. Courtney Cox's name is being censored. So yeah, like, I need to go a little bit outrageous with how fucking absurd all of this is. So maybe you'll see just how fucking absurd and how insufferable you all fucking are about everything. Context of things matters. Just because words are bad, because they mean something bad, doesn't mean the word is bad, and it doesn't mean that the person saying it is bad and needs to be canceled. We need to chill on that mob mentality of that I disagree with that person, they need to be canceled. Did they break the law? Probably don't need to be canceled. And if they did, then they should go to jail. Just because you say something that's bad doesn't necessarily make you the bad person. You can say something bad and use words that are all fucking acceptable words to use and still be bad. Like, let's observe let's observe a conversation. Now, two people are going to talk. One of them is a bad person. One of them isn't. We're going to see if we can identify who's who in this situation. You know, Steve, you know that I feel like black people aren't really people, right? You know, I think that they're actually subhuman species all on their own. It's just they're completely different from us, and I feel like they're inferior and that they should be allowed to be hunted for sport. What the fuck did you just say to me, Kyle? Get the fuck out of here. You know I'm the biggest nigger lover here in town. Nobody loves the niggers more than I do, Kyle. Get the fuck out of here. That shit you just said to me. I would rather be sodomized by a million 12-inch black nigger dicks than ever hear what you just said ever again. Get the fuck out of here. And if I see you, I'm gonna rape you to death. Now, one of those people is bad. One of them just needs to chill. A lot. Because they got overreacted. They overreacted. They got upset. They got a little heated. Now, this is an issue where you're, you know, allowed to get heated, allowed to be upset. The world is upsetting. Upsetting things happen. And he did the right moral obligation to step in and say something in defense of fellow human beings that were being disparaged. He just needs to dial it back. Like 3 notches, 4 notches. Just dial it back a little bit. Keep the passion there. But, you know, what he said bad? No. If you use the context, he was the better person, even though he said the word that he shouldn't have said. Because, yeah, he probably shouldn't have said it, but he did. And it doesn't make him a bad person. It just, you know, he's actually the way better of the two people. The other person's a bad person, and don't let the word he used to make it, you know, the point get lost. Because context matters. The other person said words that are acceptable on all platforms with no censoring, but when you put them together, is a horrible statement that is technically accepted by freedom of speech, sure. But then, you know, freedom of consequences is also there, right? Like, just because you say something shitty and you're in your right to do it doesn't mean that other people can't react to it. Even I would prefer that they did it with logic and reasoning. But if you're a complete piece of shit, sometimes the logical thing is, you know, fuck around and find out. Like, remember that cum stain, that fucking cum stain with the your body, our choice shit, and like immediately the internet doxed them and dragged them through the dirt. Even Andrew Tate made fun of them. Like, I can't imagine a world where that fucking brother-loving, incestuous faggot like Andrew Tate would get the clown on me. I would rather the fucking island boys force me into street prostitution. Just because you can say something doesn't mean you should. You know, like, should I have called Andrew Tate a brother-loving, incestuous faggot? No, probably not. There's other words I could have used to say it. But, like, should anybody other than Andrew Tate and his brother get offended by that? Not really. Like, it doesn't involve you. It's not your fight. Fuck, why do you Especially if he's so tough, why do you need to get involved for in his defense? He wouldn't respond to me because it didn't matter to him. And that's actually the proper way to handle something like that. You just move past it. You just move past it. That's all you gotta do. Context is important. Not everybody that says bad things is a bad person. Should I have used the word retard a bunch? Not really. But again, should I have found a different way to say it? Probably, but not really, because at the same time, for impact, it was the more impactful thing to really drive the point home. So contextually, it was actually the better choice to make my point a little better. But that's using context and not just reacting to the word that I said. But we just gotta, like, I don't know, learn to just move past things. If something upsets us, just move past it. There's no need to get involved with shit that doesn't involve you. Just move past it. Don't let it ruin your day. Enjoy life. Life's short, it's fucked up, but there's a lot of fun shit to it as well. There's a goddamn calculator floating outside the goddamn thing, you know? If we work together, anything is possible. So don't let somebody else, you know, bring you down and make you not want to work with everybody else, because, you know, fuck those people. You know, work together, and if you don't, fuck you. But there's me, starting the mob. That's how it all begins, right? Because that leads me to my final thing I think I'm gonna say here is, at any point during this rant, you found yourself thinking, like, look who's talking, like, is the pot calling the kettle black? Sir, you've been doing that for the last 20 minutes? Because, you know, at various points in time, you may have thought these things, especially now. And all I gotta say is, well, I'm a hypocrite, and I get off on irony. And I'm only human, right? Like, I'm just like you guys. I, too, am insufferable, but I'm trying to work on it. But again, I do get off on irony, and so I'm gonna go change my pants. Good night, everybody. I've been Peter fucking Reed. Get yourself tested.
Look, here's the thing.
Fine. Listen,
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm kind of retarded.